And that's our next focus today on the program. And Marpa?
Thank you, Chamberlain. I do have with me in the studio Buba Galadima, who is a member of the Board of Trustees of the All Progressives Congress. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you, Mope.
You've heard some of the questions put at the end of that report.
I did.
Excuse me, because this is the second attack, the recording in Enugu, after government vowed that this will not happen again. What do you think is responsible for it?
Well, I wouldn't know what is responsible for it, but I think there is a misconception about what is happening all over the country. First, let me establish my credentials so that people know who is talking and from which background. I want to say for records that I'm not a Fulani man, even though I bear a Fulani name called Buba. And I also want to say that I'm not speaking for the APC, nor am I going to speak for the government, because I know as a fact that government have got able people who can discuss this matter, and they are paid to do that job. So I'm speaking here as a public commentator and a Nigerian and an observer of current events in my country. So I wouldn't know what was responsible for the attack. But what I know as a fact is that for time immemorial, the Fulani people and farmers used to have disagreements over grazing. In my locality and in most localities or communities in Nigeria, such conflicts are always amicably settled between the community leaders and the Fulani leaders. They arrest cows, they arrest goats, take it to the village head or hamlet head, and the Fulani people are fined some amount of money. This has been the tradition in Nigeria. Then suddenly, there is an uprising, near uprising, violence that was associated with Fulani herdsmen. I find it intriguing, and I look at it objectively, and I am of the firm opinion that most of these assertions are politically motivated. And I can give you a reason. Just before I came into this studio, as I was sitting out there, I read two newspapers, the Authority newspaper of today, Monday 29th, and the Sun newspaper. And in it, they said, Fulani herdsmen killed 37 people in Niger State. Fulani herdsmen. And when they started to explain the situation, we discovered that they were not talking really of any Fulani herdsman. The Fulani herdsmen we know are people who rear cattle or goats or sheep. And they go with a flock of 200, 300, sometimes 50 and thereabout. I have not seen in any of these reports that they are making for the last 1 year that a Fulani man abandons his cattle to go and attack a village. This is a big treasure. 300 cows is millions of naira in the custody of one small boy or in the custody of one small man just carrying a stick. So it is a new phenomenon that people carry guns. And I want to say that in all communities, in all tribes, they are miscreants, Fulanis inclusive. You find them in Yoruba, you find them in Hausa, you find them in Kanuri, you find them in Igbo, you find them in Ijo. And when I saw in the Sun newspaper that a traditional ruler in Anocha of Delta State was killed 8 months ago by Fulani herdsmen, and they listed 8 people. As I speak, just take the Authority newspaper or the Sun newspaper of today, Monday 29th, you will read all those. Of the 10 people that they counted, only 2 have a semblance of either Fulani or Hausa or Muslim names.
Now we'll come back and explore further this idea of miscreants, because you say you have a very intriguing theory. We'll come back and explore that, but we'll have to take a break now. We'll return in a moment to join us again. also have with me in the studio Buba Galadima, who is a member of the APC Board of Trustees, but he says he's not speaking for the APC this morning. Just wondering, you talked about political motivation, that you think that some of these attacks have been politically motivated. Who do you think is politically motivating it?
Well, I think we will not be doing justice to this topic in just 30 minutes. There are a lot to eat. For me personally, I believe that there are two adversaries in this drama. One, those who believe that government has no business in establishing grazing reserves for a Nigerian community or some ethnic group in the country. Two, the opponents of government. I see it as a direct attack on the person of president, who is being seen as a Fulani man trying to bring peace by establishing grazing reserves. What is wrong with the grazing reserves or ranches? I was the chairman of Nigerian ranches during the Shagari era.
Is it the lack of grazing reserves that is politically motivating the attacks?
No, no. You better know that in this country we have cattle routes, we have grazing reserves that were established, over 37 of them that were established by the colonial masters, even before the advent of the First Republic. So they are not new. They are not new. Only the issue is that it's mischief. That people who wants to run down maybe the president are attacking this idea. Or people who are against the establishment of these reserves or are sitting on these reserves. But the issue is that, for example, the Niger one, where 37 people were killed, no Fulani man was identified. But the community are saying cattle rustlers. Cattle rustlers, in fact, the Fulanis are at the receiving end on this, because it is their cattle, it is their treasure, it is their wealth that are being stolen by the miscreants. The other group are those who want to steal the cattle of the Fulani people. They shout and say, Fulani rustlers. They kill the Fulani and carry their cattle away. We found this severally in Plateau and other places in Nigeria. Where can a Fulani man, for God's sake, go to Enugu and attack a community? How many Fulani people are there?